Bourbon, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week, but not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country, and welcome to a special free agency edition of Bourbon, Broncos, no BS. The Broncos have done a lot in the last couple of days that we can break down and talk about as we get excited of really looking towards what this team is going to look like this next year. You know, obviously the Russell Wilson thing is huge, and I don't know about you guys. We've got Rob and Dave here with us tonight, but I still wake up in the morning and I'm like, did that really happen? Did we really get Russell Wilson, or is this like something's going to happen and like we trade him away, or they're like, never mind, or something? I don't know.
Well, tomorrow it becomes official. Tomorrow at what is it? 2 p.m. Mountain Time.
2 p.m.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. That's when the league year begins and all trades become official. So we just have to make it till then, Kev.
Yep. Hey guys, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to the show. Sorry to cut you off, Rob. But I want to let all our listeners to know, make sure you post those comments. Let us know what questions you have, how you feel about some of these signings. We'll share our thoughts because really this show is all about interacting with you all and talking with you. So, you know, again, we talk about Broncos amongst ourselves all the time. And I'm sure David is sick of hearing me and my really bad jokes. David's the funny one here, so he probably rolls his eyes at every bad joke I tell. But,
listen, that's why I use Twitter. Twitter is just my echo chamber for my own hilarity. It's like a safe space where I can just go on and be funny.
I love it. Hey, Red Cloud, glad you're here, man, and not in Facebook jail. We got Travis up in here. Travis, good to see you again. And we got a Facebook user, Danger Russ. Yes, we are Danger Russ now. It's going to be fun to see what this offense looks like. So, Rob, I'll hand it over to you first, man. Kind of, what are your thoughts of what's been going on, a big picture, and yeah.
So yeah, with the Russell Wilson signing, I mean, obviously that's huge. I'm as David said, I'm hopefully optimistic about it. Looks like Frank from Germany. Thank you very much for joining us. We had a few more signings today. Obviously, the notable one is Randy Gregory from the Dallas Cowboys. It looks like some of the language in the contract he wasn't cool with, so he said, "Nah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm gonna go over there to Denver and see what's going on there with Russell Wilson and all the weapons that we have." So yeah, it's looking real promising. I'm getting more and more excited. But we'll see. We'll see with Randy Gregory. As David alluded to in our group chat, he did have some suspension issues. But people can change, and let's hope that he turns it around and keeps his nose clean.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Well,
that's what I want to address.
Yeah. I mean, we'll dive right into it with Randy Gregory. The suspensions stem from some fondness for marijuana. That is, something that here on this show that we we take I would say progressive attitude towards in a lot of situations, but the NFL until recently not so much the case there. I think that in the recent CBA, actually, that has changed as well. I believe now marijuana offenses, even a repeat offense, is now a maximum of a 3-game suspension for a player. So I'm sure that was taken into account when they decided whether or not they were going to sign Randy Gregory. But those are really the quote unquote character concerns that you're looking at. There's not, any kind of history of violence, any kind of stuff like that with Randy Gregory. It's just, can he keep himself clean of that stuff? If you read a little bit into his background, it sounds like he's worked an awful lot on distancing himself from that kind of past. But that's the gamble that George Payton is taking right now. It's kind of the biggest gamble so far of his GM career thus far. We'll see if it works out.
So one thing, and I completely agree with that, right? Like this is a fresh start for him, right? He hasn't burned any bridges in Denver. The team is going to welcome him with open arms. People in Dallas are upset. First off, if Skip Bayless is pissed off about something that that it's a big deal, right? So I think we definitely, that should be telling you something. And I think Skip Bayless is an idiot.
Right.
And he's pissed off all the time.
Right. Well, I mean, he would probably marry Jerry Jones if he had the chance. That's how, in love with his Cowboys that he is. But anyway, this isn't the Bash Skip Bayless show. It could be.
But we did bash the Cowboys, though.
Shannon Sharp makes sure every episode of the Skip Bayless show is this Bash Skip Bayless show. So we don't have to. We can leave that to Shannon. Hall of Fame.
But, a couple of things here is, the Cowboys were really excited to see what he was going to do when he was healthy, Last year, I think I saw he only had like 6 sacks, but he was playing with a calf injury, and he was always right there in the mix. Like he was getting to the quarterback, right? Putting the pressure on the quarterback. And he's only started in 12 games. He has been suspended for over 50 games. Yeah. So...
not since 2020 at least.
Right. So I'm not too concerned at all. I mean, I think this is a really smart gamble on George Payton's part, because you have a guy who has a ton of talent and he's getting paid for the talent and the potential that he has. Mm-hmm. You bring him here, you have the coaching staff that hopefully is going to be and create that environment that brings the best out in players, right? Maybe something that we haven't seen recently in Denver.
And that's another thing that George Payton's kind of gambling on right now for sure, is especially with Nathaniel Hackett, is you're trying to create that culture, right? You're trying to, and yes, thank you, Nancy, absolutely. You're trying to create that culture of having that locker room where guys buy in, and that falls on the coaching staff to do. But again, Payton, like you said, is gambling that's going to be what happens here.
Yep.
Rich, what's up, brother?
What's up, Richie? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi to Nancy, and let's see. I don't think I said hi to Drake yet. Ruben, how you doing? So here's a question that's kind of going. I think a lot of the rumors going into this week were revolving around the Broncos and
the Broncos,
and Chandler, the Broncos,
the Broncos,
Chandler and the Broncos.
Of course.
I don't know what I said.
Darling,
anyway, but basically, now that we have we made the signing, do you see us getting any other kind of pass rusher? I mean, I think the Von Miller thing is kind of dead. Last I saw was the Broncos haven't been in any kind of communication with Von Miller's agent. So I think that's kind of put to rest, but Chandler Jones or anything like that, like, what do you guys think?
Well, David, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go. So we did also sign a couple other players, from the 49ers, defensive tackle DJ Jones to a 3-year, $30 million deal. I watched a little bit of film on him on my lunch break today, and that dude is Shelby Harris 2.0. I mean, specifically when they were playing the Seahawks, he blew the center up and went right after Russell Wilson. So, I mean, to have him on our side now, I think is going to be super beneficial. I don't know if Denver's going to try to make a play for Chandler Jones, but I mean, if we do, that's going to be 3 Joneses on the same line. You got Draymond Jones, you got DJ Jones, and Chandler Jones. Yeah. So also we did re-sign Josie Jewell to a 2-year, $11 million deal, which I think is a great great deal. I'm more looking to see if Denver goes after Bobby Wagner, who played with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's like, come on down, come to Denver. It's a great place. In which case, then I think maybe oh gosh, what is his name? The linebacker, not Josie Jewell, the other one, Johnson. I think Johnson might be, they might let him test free agency and walk. But, with that being said, I mean, our defense is shaping up to be very, very scary. Even with the Chargers signing Jackson and Edgerrin, they have Edgerrin James, and now they got Mack and Bosa. I think George Payton is doing everything that he can to keep up with the Chargers, to keep up with the Chiefs. And, well, we don't really give a shit about the Raiders because they hired Josh McDaniels. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, exactly. What I really kind of see everything happening in the the next 5+ years, the AFC team going to the Super Bowl is going to have to run through the AFC West.
Absolutely.
I could see either the Chargers, the Broncos, or the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game every year for the next 5+ years right now. I'm not thinking that the Broncos are going to make it that far this year. What I would like to, or what I kind of expect to happen is a repeat of Peyton Manning's first year. We bring him in, he's learning the new system, right? We're still adding pieces. The team kind of comes together. You get a whole nother second off season to bring things together. And that's when you're really going to see things tighten up. So, if we can make it to the playoffs and win a playoff game this year, I think that's my ultimate goal for this team. But with what these guys are doing, Richie, you got Chubb, who this is going to be interesting to see how Chubb plays this year, because, it's kind of been, he's injury prone. When he is healthy, he's maybe a little bit above average. I don't know what you guys think about him, but I want him to do really well, but it could be one of those things where do we look to move on from him after this next year?
It just depends. Can he stay healthy this year? Like, can he produce for over a full season this year, which I don't think he's done yet. And one note, I think, about DJ Jones, while we're on the subject of the defensive line, I think he actually may end up being a little bit more of a replacement for Mike Purcell than anything else. Shelby Harris is, more of a defensive end, whereas Jones, at least to this point in his career, has played a lot more one technique nose tackle than anything else, which is, of course, Mike Purcell's area. So we'll see. That's, he does the run stuff really well. He is, he's got upside as the pass rusher, but he's kind of more of an elite run defender than anything right now. So we may see him in that role more than anything else. And that's why I think we may see a little bit more of an addition on the defensive line to get a little bit more of a pure defensive end in a 3-4 scheme type of guy. Just because I think they would add, just like to add one more guy altogether there. Right now you're looking at Deshaun Williams and Draymond Jones to start there. I think you definitely want to add a guy there if Mike Purcell is kind of, as I think, maybe on his way out, or at least being phased out by DJ Jones.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah. But I am excited for the pass rush potential with Chubb and Gregory. If Chubb, and we say this, we're back to the injury thing. If we say this a lot, but if Chubb can get back to form, if he comes into the season healthy, that's, a tantalizing combo to think about for a while.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He has a lot to play for this year, so I think he really has a chance to kind of have a breakout year on his side as well, and have that 1-2 punch, left side, right side.
Yeah.
So
let me see when they need to pick up his 5th-year option by.
I think it's this next year, but I'll let you check on that. Now, one graph I want to show that really stood out to me today, and I'm not sure
how many did it. I'm sorry, they already did it.
They already did pick up the 5th-year option.
They picked it up last year. The 5th year is coming up pretty soon at this point. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So let's look at this, and this is from PFF. This is what kind of their rankings on the moves that have transpired so far, and to see the Broncos. I mean, not just look. It didn't take much for us to improve to begin with, right? I'll give you that. But I mean, holy crap. They're saying that we haven't, looking at the potential for this team and the amount that we have improved compared to all the other moves so far. Some people are maybe upset that George Payton hasn't done enough so far in free agency, or the things that he has done they haven't liked. This right here, I mean, this is just one little piece of evidence or, data. But holy crap, like this is outstanding to see. I mean,
well,
I don't even know how to describe it.
it clearly reflects the addition of Russell Wilson and how much the addition of a quarterback of that caliber to a room that was as bad as ours helps your team. I mean, that's what we're really measuring here, is how much better are you than you were last year. And it's remarkably better in the Broncos case. It's measurably this much better. And it's really, really nice to see, and to have a GM that's willing to go out there and make these kind of moves.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that honestly we haven't really seen the Raiders, done much. I know they extended Crosby. We haven't seen the Chiefs do very much. Chargers have done a little bit, and we're right there 1-2. But on that graph, Kevin, if you did notice, way down there at the bottom is the Seahawks, and that's even with 2 1s, 2 2s, a fifth, 3 players, and there's
now
still.
This is right. It'll be interesting to see how this all looks after the draft, right? But,
absolutely,
compared to where we're at right now, holy crap!
But I'm excited, man.
Just a little bit of breaking news here, fellas. The Broncos have signed tight end Eric Tomlinson, a blocking tight end. More it sounds like, but former Raven comes over to Denver. So it looks like we've sealed kind of another hole on the team. Alberto, certainly more of a receiving tight end than anything else. So I think that we've got a guy locked up. Although I will say, Richie, that might put the nail in the coffin for your Eric Saubert return dreams, but we'll see how that goes.
Welcome to the squad.
That's right. Welcome, Eric Tomlinson. A mile-high salute to you. And now, guys, you were kind of. Let's go back a little bit to that arms race discussion you were talking about, because really in the AFC West, that's what it's become now. The Chiefs, like Eric said, the Chiefs are out of cap space at this point. They don't have any money to make big moves. I think they're going to be looking to improve through the draft to get some more impact players this season. They did sign Justin Reed after letting Tyrann Mathieu walk, which I think is going to be a really, really good secondary decision. But they don't have a real, they let Charvarius Ward walk. They're down some corners. As far as Las Vegas goes, I don't know what Josh McDaniels' plan is there. Like, what do you guys think? I'm not entirely sure he's sold on Derek Carr, and they may be looking to blow that up pretty soon. What do you guys think?
Look, my opinion may be extremely biased, but he's a fucking idiot. I don't even think he knows what his plan is. But,
I am not willing to drop the hammer, that hammer on new Josh McDaniels yet. 2010 Josh McDaniels was an idiot. Absolutely. Cannot. There's no argument with anything you just said. But who knows what 2022 McDaniels may not have learned anything. It may be absolutely possible, and it may just be really, really fun for Broncos country to watch for the next 3 to 4 years. But if he did, he's coached a really successful offense for a really long time, and if he gets a quarterback in there that he can actually mold, that's better than Tim Tebow, maybe he makes them relevant again. I think there's at least a chance of that.
You know what? I think there's a bigger chance of our viewers right now sharing the video. Hint, hint. If you haven't shared the video yet, go do that. Then that happening.
Yeah.
But
good call.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they all do, man. I think he in his press conference when they made him the head coach of the Raiders there, he was like, I'm not going to change who I am, and to me it's like, please don't change. Like that's exactly right. I don't want you to change. You're an idiot. Be yourself. That's fantastic news. So we'll see there, but it'll be interesting to see how, because they're going to be under a lot of pressure now to keep up with, the other 3 teams in the AFC West. And, I think it's every AFC West match is just going to be a hell of a ball game for the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's just going to be a drag out fight now, for for playoff and wild card and division and everything. And yes, Eric, thank you very much. Appreciate that. But yeah, it's gonna be crazy, and I'm definitely interested to see what we do with the draft. Being that we've signed these, I'm curious, David, on your thoughts. What are some more needs that we're looking for in the draft?
Well, it's got to be right tackle, and whether you shore that up in free agency in the next few days, or you do look to the draft to get somebody there, that's got to be, I think, where you look the most. I would absolutely prefer that they get a free agent, even if it's just to bring back Bobby Massey to start again, as opposed to waiting for our last basically last pick in the second round to try and get a starting quality offensive tackle. That to me doesn't seem like a strategy that George Paton is going to pursue. I think he's a guy that wants to draft the best player available at all points. And that's, he's kind of said that this year already. He wants to plug his holes in free agency so that when he drafts, he's free to do that. So that's what the kind of strategy I think they're looking to pursue right now. I would keep an eye on La'el Collins. If he's released by the Cowboys in the next couple of days, it sounds like they save more money by releasing him than by trading him, which is an interesting contract wrinkle for them. But he's certainly going to have a robust market as a 28-year-old who can, seriously play. That may be a name they're in on. But like I said, even if it's just bringing back Bobby Massey, plug that need, because I think the rest of your needs are tertiary at this point.
Right.
More edge rush depth, more linebacker depth, more cornerback depth. But again, you can't reasonably fill all holes with stars or quality starters in a year, especially when you've done as much as the Broncos have done.
Well, and that's where you're looking at the coaching staff, right? To be able to develop game plans and call plays based off of the talents and the skills of the players that you have. And to be able to bring out the best in those players. We just haven't had that. It's something that, we've lacked enthusiasm from the coaching staff. We've seen them just be so set in their ways that, it seems like all the fans are calling for, change this. Like, this is not working. Why are we doing this over and over and over and over again? And I just think those days are gone, whatever happens. I think this coaching staff is younger. Well, they're obviously younger in general. Just look at the assistants and the coordinators and everyone. They're very young across the board, but bringing in that those new ideas, those fresh ideas, those perspectives, and being able to change things to find things that work. And if it doesn't work, they're not going to keep just repeating it, right? So I'm excited to see the energy that this coaching staff brings to the team. And then you got somebody like Russell Wilson to lead them out on the field and be that general type of player that, field general that Peyton Manning was, and bring even more out of those players when they're out there. So there's just so much, I just keep thinking, how excited we've been over the last few years when something happens, but this is like a genuine excitement. And like, it's not like I want to believe. This is, we have a reason to believe that this team is going to be phenomenal, you know?
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got excitement. I haven't felt this excited. Yeah, that's a good idea, Red Cloud. Stay out of Facebook jail, buddy. But yeah, I haven't been this excited since, after Peyton Manning, and even before then when we had Tim Tebow. God, every fucking game he was in, I had a damn heart attack because I was like, oh my God, we're going to lose. And then he just willed his way back to win. But, I believe the last time we mentioned the coaching staff, I believe we do have the youngest coaching staff in the league. And, let's not, no, I'm not going to even read that comment.
We're not going to say that out loud. Don't.
But I do think that in retrospect, Denver is the new LA Rams, the youngest coaching staff. We're bringing in, top tier talent, and we're just going to make a run at this thing and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why can't the Broncos be on Hard Knocks? Have they announced who's going to be on Hard Knocks this year?
I don't want them to be on Hard Knocks. I feel like that's a distraction.
They can't be on Hard Knocks. One of the rules of Hard Knocks is you can't be a team with a first-year head coach. So That's it. No
Interesting.
Broncos this year.
Perfect.
Yep.
Did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
It always seems to be like the crappy teams are on Hard Knocks anyway.
I think there's only
Like-
like 5 teams that are eligible this year. It's like less than ever.
Yeah, it's usually like crappy teams where you're like they need like extra publicity or something, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's maybe a good thing that
3
we're not
teams.
there.
Yeah, 3 teams this
3.
year. It's going to be the Detroit Lions, the New York Jets, or the Carolina Panthers.
It's got to be the Panthers because the other 2 teams are.
Man, what if the Panthers get Deshaun Watson and then they're on Hard Knocks? Oh,
Yep,
man.
that's gonna be
That's gonna be
what gets
watching.
people to watch. Nobody's gonna watch it if it's the Jets or the Lions.
No,
like,
and if they
come
don't
on.
get it, nobody's going to watch the Panthers either. Like,
Well,
you
yeah.
know.
Exactly.
Yeesh.
Let's see, Derek. Hope the special teams step up. Yeah. So.
No
Yeah,
more Tom
I mean-
McMahon. No more Tom
No more.
McMahon.
Right. No more Tom McMahon. So I think that definitely is a big improvement in that regard right there.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see who we get as our return man.
Yep.
Probably, I think, we'll draft somebody for that in is what I'm expecting. So
Yeah, there's guys you can get in late rounds if you want a return specialist that'll do just fine for you. But Dwayne Stukes comes over from the Rams to be our new special teams coach. You've got to think he can coach him up better. You heard me, Rich. I didn't stutter. I won't dignify it by repeating myself. Anyway, yeah, I think there's reason to be excited just about everywhere right now. It's optimism season, guys. Haven't I been saying it for a few weeks now? Haven't I been saying it?
Yeah, but now that we have Russell Wilson and these other guys,
I
there's
see. Now you've got
reason.
So now what you're saying is now you have reasons to believe you believe.
Right.
You didn't just believe blindly before. Now
I believed blindly for
sure.
years and
Sure.
years and years.
And it hurt us.
I mean,
it hurt us a lot. Kev, I understand.
The years between Manning and Elway, I was just a blind believer, and then
Because
after
you didn't
Elway,
go dead inside during the season.
It's
You
right.
gotta
Last year was the first time ever that I went dead inside.
That's right. That's right. Now
Like,
and
I
then
finally
after the
was
season,
just like flip the table, like
Sure.
that's it.
Yep. Beautiful. See, it's much better. And now you don't have to anymore. Now we can
I
just
don't have
believe
to.
again.
For good reason though, not just blind optimism.
I suppose. Yeah.
Right. Because every team in the offseason, especially around the draft, is like, oh, we're gonna be so much better this year. Like this is gonna be a turnaround year. Everyone says those things, right? And I would believe it, like, oh yeah, like geez. I mean, we get butt fumble Sanchez, and it's like this could work, like let's try it.
Bro, that was one of the dumbest decisions ever.
What should have, yeah, that's what we should have been saying that's what I should have been saying is what are we doing? But I mean, it's like, it's a veteran quarterback. I mean, this should work. Yay, right? No, that's not where we're at right now. So that's
Remember Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco?
oh my god.
Anyway,
Fumble was worse, but yeah,
was
oh
it?
God, Joe
Was it?
Flacco.
Because we made Joe Flacco start a bunch of games for us. Like the Mark Sanchez thing didn't get past Trevor Siemian. Like at least
Right.
Siemian kept us away from that. Like oof.
Yeah, and I
Speaking
think
of, what do I do with my Trevor Siemian jersey?
Keep it. You keep that
Think
thing.
so? You
That
think
thi-
so?
Yeah.
No, Trevor Siemian did right by the Denver Broncos. Okay.
He
Yeah,
did. I jumped on that train so quick, and the moment that I did after that third or fourth game, that's when things started getting real bad, fast.
I am setting
But-
him and I am setting Teddy Bridgewater aside from all criticism of Broncos quarterbacks between Manning and Wilson. Those
I
two.
will give you that.
Everybody else can go to, but those two I set in their own special. You guys tried your hardest, and I really appreciate you, boys.
That's true.
Yeah.
Richie, no, not like an actual. I didn't want to break tables. I just wanted to flip all of the tables. So I wasn't going to jump on them and break them. There's a difference there.
I'll do
One
it.
is stupid. Go for it, man. maybe get enough beer in me, and then we'll talk. But we'll see.
Kevin, we could do it together.
Good.
Here's a question I've seen a couple times now. What do you got? I mean, are you guys concerned?
I know.
Do
Didn't
we
they
even draft?
Didn't they re-sign Rippon?
They did.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I'm guessing he's technically our number 2 now.
As of right now, I mean, unless we
Yeah,
draft
as of-
somebody.
Yeah, I mean, offensive line. Listen to me when I say this. You protect Russell Wilson for the love of God.
For the love of God.
Well, and
That's
I'll tell
the
you, the Teddy Bridgewater had more time to throw last year than I don't know how many quarterbacks in the league, but it was a lot. So I trust Russell Wilson to be able to deliver a ball on time and on schedule in the play a little bit more. I know Russell Wilson has this, reputation of being a creative quarterback who likes to extend plays and make big things happen. But I also know that every quarterback likes to play within structure if the in-structure play is there,
Right.
And I think Nathaniel Hackett and him are going to scheme it up to where the in-structure play is something that Russ wants to do first. So I think the offensive line is going to look better as a unit this season anyway, but we'll see.
Right.
It looks like Derek has a question about Mike Boone being the backup.
And I was going to bring this up. It's not official yet that we're not re-signing Gordon, but it's not looking positive, in any regard.
Right.
So as of right now, Mike Boone, unless with that number 2, you got to remember, everyone, we still have a second round pick. We traded away a first and a second, but we still have a second round pick. So definitely an area if we wanted to go get another big running back, we could do that there too. And
at this point, you're not even looking for a feature back kind of guy. You're really looking for a guy who can just share the load with Javonte Williams, maybe a guy who would specialize a little bit more in a outside zone scheme. So yeah, it's you're going to have availability in the draft, and you're not going to have to worry. I think even if Boone isn't on this roster, you're not going to have to worry that the backup, the second running back is going to be a real hole on this team. I don't think.
Yeah. No. Nope.
And Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, Steven says get rid of Chubb. So this is, Steven, we were talking about this earlier in the show, and I'll just recap really quickly a couple of the things that we've talked about. So Chubb, we did just pick up his 5th-year contract, but him getting healthy again this year, and having
Gregory.
some of these, having Gregory on the other side of him now. Hopefully make him a better player. He has a lot to play for. I think this is a good chance for him to have a breakout year. Now I think he's running out of chances. I mean, if he keeps, knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but if he does, keep getting injured and stuff, that's when we're going to be looking to, hey, probably need to move on, nothing against you, man, but we just can't keep having holes on that side. Another question earlier about, are we going after Vaughn? Probably not at this point. There's been, the reports of zero communication between the Broncos and Vaughn's agent. So
Vaughn and Chandler Jones at this point are still out there because they're probably going to be, at least they're probably asking for more money than the pass rushers that we've seen sign for. It's been, all these deals have been between $12 and $15 million per year. Usually, I think Miller and Jones are probably looking for something more in the 16, 17, $18 million range. And if that's the case, there's no chance at all that the Broncos sign another one of those guys to go with one of the guys they got. It's just, they don't have the room.
Right.
So we got a question about inside linebacker here from Shadowjacker.
Now, is this Jared's shadow account?
No, Jared's busy tonight, unfortunately, or I would hope he would be here, but
sure he is.
Anyway, so after they re-signed Josie Jewell today, I think that we're probably looking at Kenny Young and Alexander Johnson walking. We'll see if the market allows for bringing either of those guys back, but I would say they're probably comfortable going forth with Jonas Griffith and Baron Browning to go alongside Josie Jewell at inside linebacker right now. Another depth signing or something like that, like Richie says, but not probably another starting caliber guy.
Hey, Clayton, how you doing? Glad you're here. I know it's been a while, but you're good, man. Just glad any of you guys can join us for any of our shows and podcasts. You're all awesome. Right here, man. Love you too. Love all you guys. This is why we do this, to talk to all of you guys and hear your thoughts. So Clayton is exactly right. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button, hit that share button. I see we only have like 10 reacts. Come on, guys. Let's get that up there. We can do better than that. We're Broncos country.
Help us out with that algorithm, people.
Right, exactly. The more you do that, the more people we get in here, and it just makes it for a more entertaining show.
And also make sure you give us a subscribe on YouTube as well. We're trying to get those numbers up. So, tell your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, your dog, your cat. Tell everybody, hit that subscribe button, and let's get those numbers pumped up for sure.
I haven't seen a bigger fan than Devin Candino yet on our YouTube. He's still our number one fan over on that side, Mr. Devin Candino. Yeah. He goes by CanDev or something like that. I don't know, but he's a cool guy. So,
and one more note about the inside linebackers. Just
we're just going to change the subject.
Yeah, we're. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about this Dev Can joke anymore, Kevin. So inside linebacker in this scheme, if the Broncos are going to be running a scheme similar to 2021 with Vic Fangio, which it sounds like they are, inside linebacker is just, they need some athleticism there, but it's not a position that they put a lot of stress on in this scheme. A lot more falls on the safeties than anybody else in this scheme, and that's why you've got Justin Simmons back there. Also, you've have rumblings today that Kareem Jackson has been in contact with the team about a possible return. It sounds like there's some work to do if they want him back, but it sounds like he's optimistic and open to it. So we'll see how that goes. Some depth there is going to be necessary, I think, if he doesn't re-sign. But I don't think inside linebacker is somewhere in this scheme specifically where you need star players.
Yeah. Clayton, who's our favorite player that we've signed? I'm going to say other than Russell Wilson. So,
we traded
otherwise.
We traded for Russell Wilson, so that's we didn't sign.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I'm glad we got DJ Jones.
Yeah. See, and now we're limited to guys, so I was also going to say DJ Jones, but you went first, so that's good strategy on your part.
That's why I just went out there because you're not thinking I'm copying you, which I do like to copy you because you're right so often. You tried to copy me on hat choice. I know that didn't work out for us, but exactly. No, team visor all the way, man.
Hey, I was just gonna say, Kev, you're only copying him because he's team puffball and he's always right.
Mm-hmm. There it is. Rob knows.
Now, man, see this. I try to compliment you once, and you take it and you run with it. Now I can't do that. I retract it. Retract it.
No, there's no backsies.
There's no takes backsies.
No.
Richie, Caden Stearns. Okay, I like that one.
Okay, so Caden Stearns, as safety depth, and 5th round rookie from last year, did play really, really well. But I don't know if they think of him as a guy who's ready to step up into a starter role besides Justin Simmons just yet. Yeah. As far as free agent signings, it's either Randy Gregory or DJ Jones right now. I don't think Ben Braden, is really that big of a splash signing. But DJ Jones, I'm so excited about what he brings to the run defense. That was like a sneaky bad part of what the Broncos did on defense last year. Like, it wasn't just like average or below average. They were bad at run defense. So I would hope, he's just one guy, but I hope he kind of helps the other guys on that team by eating up a few extra blocks and really, really helping out in that run game a little bit.
Let's see. Broncos were ranked, according to PFF, 18 in the league on run defense, which that's not good at all.
We saw in games like the Cleveland game, which was so winnable, but they just couldn't get a stop. Exactly. There was now I can't remember which game it was, but I know there was another game where there was a 4-minute defense situation for them, and they just totally whiffed it. They got run over at the point of attack in that 4-minute defense and allowed the other team to go win that game-winning score. It's just, it's absolutely ridiculous. And so, hopefully that's what DJ Jones, I think, like I said earlier, above average, maybe pass rush skills is what you can expect from him too. But really elite run defender. And that's what I'm excited for.
Now, there were, I can't remember what game near the end of the season. He really made some on-field terrible errors. I think he had 2 personal foul penalties back to back. It's one of those things, again, it goes to coaching, right? To me, that's a coaching thing. We can coach that, we can improve that, and really get these guys just really focused on how to play penalty free and all that stuff, right? So I know that was something I heard some people talking about in terms of just some of the big mistakes he makes sometimes, but to me, again, that's not a worry. You look at some of the big plays that he's made, and
we
Holy
talking about
crap,
Jones
like-
or Gregory?
No, Jones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The number of
From
teams that
49ers.
destroyed us on the
Yeah.
ground, just not. It's a much longer list. Yeah, and I think Rich is right. I think it's the Raiders game at Mile High. At Mile High.
There you
Or
go.
no, it was in Vegas. I was at that
Vegas.
game. I should remember that a little bit better.
But
Should you have though? I don't think, based off how you guys were partying, I'm surprised that you don't
That party
remember too
that
much.
party didn't get really started until after the game anyway. But I still
that's
wiped
fair.
out some memories from that. Let's put it that way.
I'm still mad I missed out. Damn it!
Boy, it was something.
Next
Robert.
year.
Yeah, next year.
As long as it's
Next
not the
year.
day after Christmas.
Yeah, watch it be the day before. Watch it be on Thanksgiving this year. It's next.
Yeah,
year.
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we'll flip the table again.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, fellas? Any topics we haven't covered as far as this free agency goes?
Man, I don't know. And we'll start wrapping it up here. But before we do, again, everyone who's watching has been watching. You're fantastic. If you're a first timer to the show, seriously, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget that we have podcasts as well on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcasts. This will probably become a podcast episode. We'll just move this over there. But we got a ton of other stuff we'll be doing this off season. Normally we do a draft night show, but this year we'll figure out, are we going to do that or are we going to do something else? We'll do some trivia nights here or there to get us through the next 6 months as we get really excited, if we're not, if you're not already, for the season to start. But, when the season does start, we have our shows Monday night, Orange Weekly After Dark, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. Tuesday night, Bourbon Broncos, No BS, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we got the pregame podcast, postgame podcast. We got a pregame live show, the Tailgate Talk. We are the original halftime live show as well. So when halftime starts, we'll be live then. We got you guys covered with as much Broncos content as we can provide you, knowing that we're not really getting paid for this. So, but yeah. So make sure you guys check that all out. And love having you guys all here. So. With that being said, Rob mentioned our YouTube channel as well. Please go subscribe over there. I'll pull up the link again for everybody. Tell your friends about us as we get excited for this next season. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to be doing. It's just going to be fun. It's going to be fun to talk about finally, versus trying to find good things to talk about. So
yeah.
But yeah, so let's maybe start doing some closing thoughts and from everybody watching, some of your closing thoughts, some things you're looking forward to in the next week as we come up to the draft, things like that. But Rob, I'll hand it over to you first, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of things that are going to happen in the next little while. We're definitely getting geared up for the draft, and hopefully we'll be able to fill those last little, depth chart issues, that we have going on. Yep. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate you. Love you. But it's you're right, Kev. It's exciting. We have so much going on. New coaching staff. Nathaniel Hackett is a boss, and and bald is the new beautiful. So it is what it is. But I'm definitely excited to see how the season plays out. And just I'm glad to be back with you guys. I know we didn't have any shows for a little while, and I was kind of like Kev, what do we do now?
It's like, yeah, seriously. By the end of the season, I'm kind of burnt out because it's like, okay, it seems like a lot. And
Right.
By the end of the season, we're not in the playoffs, so it's like kind of twiddling our thumbs. Like, I guess we're gonna do a show. Like, yeah, go Broncos. Maybe we can win this weekend. We'll see. But as soon as the off season starts, it's like, okay, now I'm bored. Like,
Yeah,
what,
right. Exactly.
what do I do with all my free time?
Want more shows?
But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm optimistic. It's going to be a fresh start, a fresh breath of fresh air, and let's just rock and roll and get this shit going.
Amen.
Very good,
David.
I want to go into something that I found really interesting over the past couple of days, which is that George Payton is just not leaking stuff. Like, his intentions are not getting out there. Everybody thought the Broncos were going to be in on Chandler Jones. Everybody thought the Von Miller thing was going to happen. And then it turns out Randy Gregory was their number one target all along. We had absolutely no idea that the Broncos were going so hard for Russell Wilson, for instance. Everybody thought they were going to be all in on Aaron Rodgers when secretly they had been negotiating for Wilson for like weeks. It's just that, DJ Jones, there was no word, no linkage of DJ Jones to the Broncos at all. So, it now starts to make me think that maybe these moves like La'el Collins, the interest in La'el Collins is not true, because, man, George Paton's just not letting his interests get out there. He's signing players, really good players, but the guys that he's signing, the interest is not getting out there until kind of the 11th hour in the process, really. And it's so interesting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes you, it's like flying by the edge of your, seat. Like what's going to happen next? You don't know.
It's a lot more interesting time to be a Broncos fan than it was even, a year and a half ago.
Even a year ago.
Yeah.
I think, George Paton is really showing just how great of a GM he's going to be. Like this is such a new team and a new environment that we're all experiencing as Broncos country. At least something we haven't seen for 6-7 years now. So it's going to be a huge change. Richie, completely agree. But Shadow, he's going to play those, keep the cards close to his chest. And I think that's great. Don't let anybody know what we're actually trying to do until it's official, and then we'll go with it. So, for me, so Neil, I'm never going to forget, Super Bowl 48. But you know what? Mr. Russell Wilson, I know you're watching this just like the rest of the Broncos do, and you're probably trying to get a feel for Broncos country. I forgive you. It's okay. That pain is gone. I'm glad you're on our side now, and maybe we can do that to another team. That'd be fun.
Kevin, that's Mr. Sierra to you.
Sorry. I'll correct myself next time. Right?
How he's always going to be Mr. Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited. So
I love it.
That's what we need to get, Rob. We need to get a sound drop of that, Mr. Unlimited.
There you go.
I'm on it
next time.
Okay.
Next time.
Anything else, boys?
Last thing here. KJ Hamler. Question: how's he going to be looking? I think he's going to be healthy. He's rehabbing just fine. Last I heard. This team, again, this offense is going to look explosive and dynamic and fun. So I think the fact that we already have in a free agency show, this is probably the biggest, most viewed free agency show we've had since starting Orange Weekly. And it's not because we've gotten more followers. It's because people are excited. Right. So there's some good stuff to talk about, and it's just going to be even more fun and exciting as we close to the season. So stick with us, everybody. We'll be here every step of the way. We have been through the last 6 years. We're definitely not going away anytime soon now. So, but we'll end it there. Rob and David, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining me. All of our viewers, thanks for joining us. I'm glad you were here tonight. But gents, I think there's only one way to end this. As we always do. Until next time, we'll end it on a very strong
Go Broncos.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.